Well, hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to start real estate investing with no money. So when it comes to how to start investing in real estate with no money, I've got experience with this. And what I'm going to do in today's episode is show you what I did well, what I didn't do well, and if I were doing this all over again from scratch starting today, what I would do differently. So let's dive in. All right, so typically when it comes to real estate investing, you've either got time or you've got money. If you've got money, it's very straightforward to get involved in real estate investing. You can jump in and start buying properties yourself. You can invest with other people, etc. If you've got time but you don't have money, then you need to do things a little bit differently, like I did back in the day. And the first thing you need to do is you need to get educated. You need to really immerse yourself in real estate investing, immerse yourself in what kind of strategies you want to focus on and what market you want to invest in. You need to learn everything you can about those strategies and understand everything you can about the market that you're going to be investing in. Now, how do you get going with little or no money? Well, back in the day when I was first starting, I did a lot of creative real estate strategies. So I became very good at a couple of different things. The first thing I was really good at was finding motivated sellers. I did those 18 deals in 18 months. I never once used the MLS. I never used a realtor. I never called a single for sale by owner, FSBO property owner. Everything I did was marketing. I got the word out there with bandit signs, with vehicle signage, with online advertising, with all sorts of different creative ways to get people's attention. And then I had them calling me asking about how I could help them get out of their challenging situation with their property. So I became very, very good at that. And then I laser focused in on a few different strategies. So I did sandwich lease deals, which is a rent to own. I did options. I did properties where I bought them subject to. I did a couple of wholesale deals. I did a variety of different things depending on the property and the person's situation. Now, the mistakes I made lots of mistakes. And the biggest mistake that I made by far was being transactional. What do I mean by that? By transactional, I mean that I was just in and out of these deals. I did not end up holding on to any of these properties for the long term. And trust me, however many years later it is now, I'm really kicking myself that I didn't hold on to some of those properties. One of them comes to mind. It was a nice little rental house. It had 2 units in it, had an upstairs suite and a basement suite in it. I got into that property creatively. I did a rent-to-own deal on that, and I ended up making about $30,000, which was pretty good over about a year and a half period of time way back when. However, I don't remember the exact numbers on that property, but at that time, the value of that property was somewhere around $200,000. Fast forward all of these years, that same property is worth somewhere around $800,000 today. So yeah, it was great. I made that quick little pop of cash, 30 grand, that keep things rolling for a while, but I missed out on 20 plus years of market appreciation. I missed out on 20 some years of paying down the mortgage. I missed out on 20 some years of cash flow. I missed out on 20 some years of property depreciation. I missed out on all of the different profit centers in a real estate deal because I was transactional. So what would I do differently? I would take a look at, if I was doing creative deals, I would take a look at, okay, how can I do some transactional type deals to make money today, but also what can I do to hold on to some of these properties for the long term? What can I do to cherry pick the best deals? And instead of flipping them or rent owning them or selling them quickly, how can I hold on to them and keep them as part of my portfolio? But more importantly, it just took me 10 years to figure that out. I figured out, how can I start doing any deal I want instead of having to focus just on these creative low money, no money down type deals? Because here's the challenge with those kind of properties. Typically, it's either a very problematic property, there's something wrong with the property in the first place, either it's a weird design or there's some sort of a structural problem with it, or it's ugly as sin, or something's going on with the property itself, or there's something wonky with the property owner. They're going bankrupt, they're in arrears on their mortgage payments, they're going into foreclosure, whatever. There's all sorts of challenges either with the property itself or the property owner, or quite often with both. Some sort of problem with the property and the owner of the property. So then you have to get in these creative, wonky, weird deals. And that's okay, but if, on the other hand, you could go and pick the property that you wanted, and even if you just had to buy it through a realtor or buy it traditionally, if you had the capital available to buy any property you wanted, you could expand your portfolio so much bigger, so much faster, so much better. And instead of working with crappy, problematic properties, you could be working with primo properties and attracting primo renters, right? Does that make sense? So what's the trick? The trick is figuring out how to access capital to buy more properties. So now I want to share with you a couple of ideas on how to attract joint venture partners. So the first idea is to let people know that you are an active real estate investor. Lots of different ways to do this. Even if you're just focusing on creative deals, you can be showing people on social media that you're actively doing things. Now be careful here. I say show people, teach people, show people what you're doing. Do not solicit capital or solicit investors on social media. That is a quick way to get in big trouble with the Securities and Exchange Commission if you're in the States, with your provincial securities regulatory authority if you're in Canada. You don't want to do that. Even if you end up winning, you still lose because of the stress and the expense involved just dealing with those guys. So don't do that. If you're doing stuff on social media, just show people what you're actively doing. Take them along, take your cell phone with you, do a little selfie type thing. Show people the different deals that you're looking at, the different deals that you're working on. Just show them that you are a going concern with real estate investing. Now, once you want to get into things and really start focusing on attracting investors and joint venture partners, then there's a few things that you need to do. First thing is you need to create a target group of your ideal prospective investors, people you already have a pre-existing relationship with. We've talked about this in a few other videos. The second thing you want to do is really connect with these people on a personal level first before you start pitching any deals. You want to do a warm-up campaign. We've talked about that on a previous episode as well. And then once you've got that, you want to make sure that you've got all the fundamentals in place so that you can constantly and consistently communicate with them and edutain them about what you're up to with real estate investing. So that involves having a really good investor-focused website, involves having what I call your $1 million investor presentation ready to go. So when people put up their hand and say, hey, tell me more about your deals, you've got something to show them. It involves having consistent marketing going out, constant, consistent edutaining communication. I'm going to recommend that you shoot for having at least one piece of capital marketing going out every week to your investor database, right? Make it light, make it short, make it edutaining, a little bit educational, hopefully a little bit entertaining. Tell lots of stories and encourage people to reach out for more information so that you can book a call with them. You can have a one-on-one conversation, right? And then you want to keep this up, get this up and going, and keep this going on a consistent basis. All right, so that is a quick snapshot on how to start attracting investors and raising capital. So one of the things that I did very well at the beginning of my real estate investing journey was taking massive action. I mean, I jumped in. I got education. I took coaching and training. I went out to different seminars and boot camps and all this kind of stuff. And then I took what I learned and I put it into play. In fact, within my first month, I did my first deal. That's how I was able to do those 18 deals in 18 months. It wasn't necessarily one a month. It just averaged out that way. And at the same time, I saw other people who were taking those same courses, who were investing the same time and money as I was into these programs, into these boot camps, but they didn't do a darn thing. So the big advantage I had was I took massive action. I can still remember I was going to Vancouver on a weekly basis to attend a little group of people that all got together from a boot camp, and we're there to kind of be a self-support group. I went the first weekend and I was already doing some deals and everybody was just saying, well, okay, for next week, let's have our business cards ready. I went the next week, there were half as many people at the actual event and nobody got their business cards done. I went back the week after, there were even fewer people and still nobody had done anything. At the end of 3 weeks, it had whittled down to about 2 or 3 people showing up. I quit going because nobody else was taking any action. So if you take action, you're going to be ahead of the vast majority of other people who are just thinking about getting active in real estate investing. Now, speaking of action, if you want to take action on attracting investors and raising capital, then go ahead, get a free copy of my book, Money Partner Formula. You can find that in the description below. You can click on the link there or go to the website investorattractionbook.com. This is my years of blood, sweat, and tears into this book. My experiences, what I did wrong, what I did right, how I was able to really scale my portfolio and start attracting investors, raising capital. Worked really well for me when I was doing single family homes, raised to close to $1 million for those kind of deals. Then when I got into multifamily properties, raised millions of dollars for those kind of deals. And better yet, this process has literally helped thousands of other real estate investors around North America get capital for their deals. And it can do the same thing for you. So go ahead and get your copy today.